Hey y'all, how's it going? I'm trading the ES futures on a 2000 tick chart with a 21 EMA. So, yeah, today's price action was not good. It was rough. And so today was a rollover day. And on the rollover days, there's a lot of volume in the other contracts still. And so, that just made it slow. And then on top of that, the price action sucked as well. So that was not good today. So, anyway, today wasn't very good, but getting into it. I started trading at 8 or at 8:45 today, but I did get the 8 o'clock post out for those who are members. So I started trading at 8:45. This area right here, right before this trade here. So starting off at 8 though, which is this area right here, just as we were pushing higher there. Notice how at 8 as you come in here, you can see that we're forming a failed second entry. So first entry short, or sorry, first entry long, second entry long, failure. And so at this point right here, when you reach up here and you start pushing lower here, you almost reach that measured move. And so this larger measured move down is still very much in play. This one is basically played out. It's almost reached. You have two legs at that point. But when you push down here and you get this red bar below the EMA, you're still expecting a second push down here. And this is the perfect area to look for a short because big picture failed second entry, rushing below the EMA, closing on its low. I do like this entry here, and I wish I was trading on time today. And look, the target is only within it doesn't really go past the start of this push up here. So it's just basically taking back what it pushed up. It's just taking that back. And so that's not an unrealistic target, especially when given the size of the stop. This is like a big stop. I get it, but I do like this as a high probability trade. So, 5 points stop, I know it's like hard to take trades with that big of a stop sometimes, but when you get consistent, or as you get more consistent, it's just as you take them just as often because the probability is the same. So if you're in sim, just make sure you're still taking the bigger trades because they will come in handy. It does make up a lot of the kinds of trades I do. I trade the big picture stuff, so that means there will be bigger stops sometimes. So anyway, down here, we're coming off these lows. Notice how we have this first leg down, second leg down. So when you have two legs down coming off the overnight lows, so two legs down to the overnight, you look for a bounce. This is the perfect place for a reversal pattern because not only do you have a big picture second entry long right there, you're also off of a major level, a major key level, which is the overnight low. And so when you rush above the EMA like that, the most ideal entry in this area would be a failed second entry. So rush above, and then you get first entry short, second entry short, failure. But unfortunately, you don't get that here. You just get this higher low. And you get a good bar there, and it doesn't trigger. But even if it did trigger, it's a higher low right into this swing high that's getting sideways. So what could easily happen is it ticks higher, reaches that swing high, bounces off of it, stops you out, and makes a second clear leg down. So even though it's going sideways here, with the bodies of the bars, you can tell we have that first leg down right there. So we could easily make a second leg down to make a failed second entry, and then you'd get stopped out on that lower high, or on that higher low. So that's why I don't like that there. We push on lower here, and then this is the failed second entry. You can see first entry short, second entry short, failure. No clear setup there. You don't want to enter after 5 bars stack up right next to each other off of no support. And so then here we push up, we kind of reject that EMA there, and then we get this higher low. Now, this higher low, I don't like this higher low because, so it's the higher low right after the failed second entry, but notice when I draw measured move, you would still have to push it far past that swing right there, which even though we have that failed second entry now, clearly it wasn't taking off like it should. It rejected that EMA, even when it closed above the EMA, it still shot way below. And so that's not a very good sign of bullishness. So that's not going to change my mind about not wanting to enter into that swing there, especially considering when you don't even have a big picture 2 legs back here. It's just 1 leg back on a big picture. So if I'm going to enter on a huge bar like that, a really big bar like that, after 1 leg down on a big picture, I see that there's, 1 leg there and then 2 legs there. Like, I get it. But that's that's on a big picture one leg down, and given the size of this, it's, you know, that size correlates with this one leg down. I'm basically entering on a bigger picture high or low right here that was just trying to stay below the EMA, and it was just pushing below the EMA. So I'm not exactly going to expect it to break past this, you know, this choppy area right here. So anyway, that's why I don't like that right there. And so anyway, we push on up there. We start getting choppy around here, and then we get this lower high. And so here for this lower high, notice the context on a bigger picture. After coming off the overnight low, we have 2 attempts to reverse. And in those 2 attempts, we are clearly failing by rushing below the EMA right there, forming a double top. And so this is a sign of a bearish imbalance. A bearish imbalance is when the bears are taking control of one side of the range. So we have this overnight range right here. So far, all we've had is these lower highs and then a double top, unable to get past even halfway into the range. And so when you rush below the EMA like that, that's a sign that you're failing to play out the range rules, because the range rules are once you come off one side, you expect it to reach the other side and back and forth. So this is a sign that the range rules are giving up and the bears are winning out this range. So this lower high right here is it has a good signal bar. It has good context. It just made that double top right there. This is the perfect area to look to go short. Now, I had my range like this at the time, and so I used a limit order because I didn't want to push it past it, just given how choppy it's kind of been all day, and also with how slow it was getting. And so I just wanted to stay within that, and unfortunately, I did not get filled on my entry order, so I had to avoid that. I didn't get filled, so I couldn't enter that, so is what I meant to say. And so if I had entered like this, then I would have wanted to, I would want to avoid that because I didn't want to push it far out of this low right there just to be safe. So that's why I avoided that, and unfortunately that got me missed trade. So we push lower here, we break on out of that range low, we start getting very choppy. Notice how we're making this, once we reach that there, we're making a triple bottom off that overnight low. And so this would be a good place to look for some kind of higher low above the EMA, or even just a failed second entry. But unfortunately, after we rush above, we rush back below and get very choppy. And so we start going into this range right here. Clear lows, clear highs. You know, we can see what's going on there. EMA right in the middle. And then here we push lower again. We reach here. And so at this point, it's clear we're in a downtrend. We have these 3 highs right there. It's very clear. We push off of it. We start getting very choppy again below this range. So yeah, today was just a mess. And so, because it was a rollover day today, so, you know, that's why it was all slow. So anyway, we push up here, and then we get this higher low. Now, I was very skeptical about taking this higher low because the overall bias is so bearish. We're in this downtrend. Every low is getting lower, or every high is getting lower, sorry. And then, given with how choppy this was, and then this, you know, it formed a whole chop underneath that, I was afraid of price attempting to fade this smaller range right here because we have that first attempt. I was afraid of it making a second attempt to fade, stopping me out, and then maybe fading this range up here. But yeah, after we started pushing up there, I extended these range lows down to here, just because it was clear that we were in some kind of bigger range. So I avoided this. It's just the overall context is so bearish at this point. I didn't want to take a small picture higher low. I wanted to see something really clear with room to those highs right there. So yeah, and I certainly didn't want to just take this bounce either, even though 1, 2, 3, 4, even though it was 4th bounce, if you were to just take the whole bounce, you would have to push it way past that high. So not going to do that. And anyway, once we reach this range high and the trend line, it gets very choppy, no clear shorts. Then we get down to these range lows down here, extremely choppy again. And then for the rest of this whole range, it's just completely choppy. So yeah, we're going to move on from here. There's no clear entries in here. That should be clear. So anyway, we break out of there. We reach this range high right here. We break out. Now remember, most breakouts fail and will attempt to fade. And so when you break out and you start pushing back lower here, what you want to see is a failed second entry holding below the EMA to look to get in on the fade. But when the EMA holds like this, then you just rush back out of the range. That's a sign that the range doesn't want to fade. That's a sign that a setup to get in on the breakout may set up. So we push up here. It could still recover. It could still form a failed second entry below the EMA. But given the fact that you already have one attempt to fade, if this second attempt to fade if it doesn't want to fade, if it finds support and isn't able to fade, then you want to look to get in on a failure. Because like I always say, price action moves in pairs of twos. That's how second entries are formed. And so price will make 2 attempts to fade generally before a successful breakout. And so when you have the first attempt to fade, second attempt to fade, you want to look to get in on the failure to fade right here, which is to go long with the breakout. But unfortunately, we don't get any clear setups. By the time you get this good, this better green bar right here, it's right into this double top that just formed. And plus it also, you can see it rejected it at the very last second there with that bar even. So that's not a good sign to go long there. So anyway, we continue up higher. We have this up measured move in play. And so the measured move goes right to that overnight high. We reach the overnight high and then we bounce off of it. We don't quite reach that. That is basically met. I mean, it's pretty clear that we're almost there. So anyway, also got this uptrend starting to form. It's right off those lows there. Those highs are fitting good. There's no overshoot. Let me get that exact really quick. So even though it ticked out it closed out 1 tick, that doesn't count. That's barely anything. So it did not overshoot. It just rejected the overnight high. And then you got 2 legs back to the key entry point here. The highs were fitting. The 2 lows down there were fitting, and now it's holding a third time. And so even though you closed below the EMA, I still liked this long because it was 2 legs back holding off this trend line. Clearly the trend line was strong enough to hold even after coming off the overnight high right there. So that's why I like that. Plus, of course, the measured move being perfectly met. 3 bars holding on to it. It doesn't close out a single time. It almost does there. It closes on it, and then it closes back above there with the green bar. So I ended up liking that just to push it to the other side of the range. And this is the only trade I got filled on today. So this is only 1 3/4 points. And so, which, I guess given the fact that there's a bunch of news items today making the day really slow, that's actually not even bad. But anyway, so I wish I had I just wish I was trading on time, because I started trading late today. Like I said, 8:45. I did the 8 o'clock post and had to go work on something else for a bit. So anyway, if I had gotten that, that's 5 points right there. So that's a shame. But anyway, 1 3/4, that's fine for a slow day like this. But anyway, let's continue on. Some more stuff has happened. I decided to wait before doing this video so more price action can form. I haven't really gone over this stuff yet. So anyway, we push on up here. We do break out of that overnight high, and then we get this breakout pullback. You don't want to go long on that. It's not on the EMA. It's just a first entry. And here we have this first entry long, second entry long right here. So this is a second entry long. EMA is holding. This uptrend is continuing, even though it's getting sideways right here. I do think this looks good. I would try to use a limit order a little bit though, because you don't want to. You consider that it's going sideways and is the high of the day at that point. So that's kind of like a range a little bit, but you can still see the 2 legs down. So I think I would be okay with pushing it all the way to the very high. So you might need a limit order, but I think that is worth attempting to get in on there, because that's just so clear. The uptrend is continuing. Now remember how I was talking about attempts to fade? And you want to, if you enter on the breakout, you want to wait for 2 attempts to fade first. I was talking about that over here. Look at this right here. So you have the overnight high here, you break out, and then you have the first attempt to fade, second attempt to fade, failure. And it even had a trap bar ticking lower than that red bar and just trapping them higher there. And so, yeah, they are small picture attempts to fade, but this is a small picture trade right here. I mean, if you entered this, you'd be going for not even 2 points. You'd be going for 6 ticks right there, which it looks like maybe you got filled on that if you're trading a low size, but that's just 6 ticks. So that's a small picture trade for a small picture attempts to fade. So I don't mind that they're small picture as long as you don't push your target so far. So So anyway, we continue up higher here. Let me draw that back. I didn't mean to remove that. I like to leave the ones on I like. And so, yeah, I wish I just stayed trading longer. I should have traded longer today too, because I stopped at like right after this trade. When I finally got this trade, it was already almost 12:40, and so I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm not going to trade longer. I usually stop at 12. I traded longer today just to get something in. If I had waited here, I could have got that, but I was done after this. So anyway, we do continue up higher here. This uptrend clearly gets an overshoot. You can't enter on that correction. It doesn't reach the EMA. We continue higher here. You get this first entry long, and then you get this, you can see to the tick, first entry short, second entry short, failure. I mean, look at that, it's just going sideways. I see I see a second leg back right there, first entry long, second entry long, and then by the time you get that green bar, you're going into this range right here. So I would just avoid that. I would wait on a deeper, second leg instead of just a tiny second leg. I would want to see two clear legs back, not, one sharp leg and then one small leg entering into, sideways action. So anyway, we do push up higher here again, and we push lower, we reach that EMA. It's just a first entry. You don't want to enter on that. If you entered on that, you got stopped out immediately. Then here you see first entry long, second entry long. Now, notice how you have this right here, forming this double top. So you could start to be going into this larger range right here. Now, consider overshoots. Those mean overbought a lot. So some people have they have indicators. They'll have like an RSI or something. They'll try to buy the 30 level and sell the 70 level. And so they're trying to determine when prices oversold or overbought. Now, when you overshoot, that's a sign that prices are overbought. And so I don't want to buy that high up right there. You see what I mean? Because prices are likely overbought. This uptrend here, because this when price overshoots, it'll often just become its new trend. So this uptrend break, new high, and then really just one leg back right there. So that's not a good sign. Even if it wasn't possibly overbought at that point, then that still wouldn't be good, because the uptrend just had a break in a new high and then a first entry down. I see that there's that second entry on a smaller picture, but really on a larger picture, that's just one leg down here right after the uptrend played out. So you don't want to enter on a small picture second entry like that right after the uptrend played out. You want to wait for two clear legs back. Notice how we get this first leg here, break, second leg, but it's choppy below the EMA, so there's nothing there. And then we clearly go into this range right here, so unfortunately we can't buy that right there. If this right here actually made a lower high, if we actually ticked lower there and formed a higher low, then that would likely be a good trade, because it would be a small picture higher low in this small picture range right here. And that's after two legs back here. So if it can, after that uptrend has a break and a new high, if it can make two legs back and then still rush back above the EMA with a higher low, then I would just play it to the other side of the range. But that doesn't happen there, so that's unfortunate. And then we break out here again. We have these two legs back. It's just chopping between, back and forth above the EMA. Nothing clear right there. So we'll see how this all holds right here. But yeah, thanks for watching. Yeah, this video is out later than usual because I wanted to let some time go by for more price action to form. Otherwise, I would have just been doing this. I wouldn't have been able to go over anything up here. So anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Hope it helped out in some way. It's kind of funny. This is like a way longer video than usual. And there's less price action than usual, it feels. So anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all next time.